Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw that video and heard the baddest sound on the airwaves, that means it's time for Black Table Talk. Welcome into another exciting edition. I am Justin Riley. With me, as always, is Mr. DYDC, channeling in on a 1986 Nintendo video screen. Julian Todd, and and then with him is Chris Parrish. What is going on, gentlemen? Happy Saturday and happy 4th of July weekend.
What's going on, man? What's going on? Y'all ready to get some barbecue ate up? What's up?
Hey, I'm ready. The question is Julian's video feed ready? Looks like we are lost in space yet again.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Oh, and he is out. I think he may still be a little gun shy from this past episode. For those of you who don't remember, Julian was getting out of hand trying to talk over me with his points, so I had to boot him out of the studio.
But we just cut the commercial.
Oh, there he is.
And we're back.
That segment brought to you by AT&T.
Yeah.
As always, we are brought to you by Todd's Terrific Turf. The man who owns the business is right here. So before we get rolling, tell us a little bit about Todd's Terrific Turf.
Man, Todd's Terrific Turf is your licensed and insured way to make sure your yard comes out crispy every single time. And Todd's Turf is always green on the other side. There's no lie about that.
And can you give us a quick update on Money in the Bank for the WWE fans in the audience? I'm sure you're watching it.
I sure can.
But if you're not,
right now,
let's get the update.
Oh, go ahead. Liv Morgan is your women's Money in the Bank winner. She did beat out about 5 other contestants in an excellent match. Who else won? Who won that second match? Oh, there we go. Bianca Belair is still your champion. What's going on, Mr. Jonathan Lewis? He's still your champion. And we have the Usos and we have the Street Profits wrestling right now. So in the mid-show, if you see me in the middle of my sentence, all of a sudden, something just happened.
Notice he said the term wrestling.
Yeah, we don't watch that wrestling. What is wrestling? That's when they use them unitards and the head thing. We don't do that. We watch
that. Yes, we are based solely out of the South. If you have a problem with it, then I suggest you go find another beta channel because that's just how we talk. And you will get your feelings hurt. But anyway, for those of you who are new to what we do, we are the only forum that will talk about the current news, stupid news, and social issues and bring the facts. We're politically incorrect, and we're here to expose false narratives. So if this is what you're all about and you want to see what you're craving, join us for about an hour, and we're going to take you where you want to be. But gentlemen, it seems like every single week that we are on here, we are constantly provided with endless content. And tonight is no other. Tonight is no different than any other time we've been on here. For those of you who have been keeping up on social media, the latest craze is a viral video of an entitled baby mama cussing out the father of one of her 4 children.
I haven't heard about this.
Oh, that's right. You've been on that TD Jakes channel instead.
Yeah,
But yeah, the video went viral. This is a woman that was going off on the father of one of her children because he brought food to his child, his only biological child of the 4. And she thought by videotaping this that she could expose him for being a horrible father, horrible person, and she would be glorified by society. Well, the only problem is none of that is true. None of that actually came to pass. But we're going to talk about it. And what I've done is I found some video by none other than Miss Melanie King, which, again, we really appreciate you letting us use content from your channel.
Thank you, Melanie.
But because of the length, we had to bring it up into 2 parts, or break it up into 2 parts. And I'm going to go ahead and show the first part, and then we're going to talk a little bit about that. So get ready. Here it is.
Every fucking day, my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have one kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing at McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids at McDonald's though? Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you want?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the seven.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings
Lisa,
though.
He's
not finna eat in front of all his other siblings and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him eat.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, this is where we're at, and this is why we have a show tonight. So, gentlemen, you just saw what happened, and you've seen the video probably more than once this week, and you probably even made a comment on the people who posted the video. So, I'm going to open the floor, and we're going to talk about the first part of this video. All right. So, Mr. Julian Todd, if you would, kind of lead off and tell us your immediate thoughts.
You know, man, as much as I appreciate the honor of leading off on this, I am going to go ahead and pass it over my left shoulder because I would like for Mr. Parrish, he called it himself, to please indulge us.
You know what? It's a lot of irony in what happened, you know, with this individual, you know, starting the video off with, I'm going to expose him for bringing food to his child. You just already starting off on the wrong foot with that.
His body language when he got out of the car was like, oh hell, here we go. You can tell that he knew he was gonna have to deal with something. I'm sorry, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The thing about it though is this. Communication, that's supposed to be key in relationships. Hey, yeah, I get that, you know, we only have one child together, but I have these other kids here. Can you, you know, bring something for them as well? It's easy. It's easy to do that. Like, the whole video shows all the reasons why she's single. And why
every single one of them. Every single one.
The video shit is like a what not to do. It's a how to stay single. It's basically in the whole video. It's lack of communication. She's verbally aggressive. She threw the food down at the end of the video, which shows she probably really don't care that much about her kids, aside from being able to get them food stamps and whatever other government assistance she's getting. You know, other than that,
the thing that got me, man, when she told him, hey, you know, I don't get my food stamps until this day. So I guess ain't nobody in the house gonna eat, huh? I guess there ain't no food for nobody.
The worst part of the video.
She's talking about being sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. She's talking about exposing him, but she exposed herself in a lot of ways in this video. She just openly admitted that she can't take care of her kids. That she has to wait till the 11th for government assistance to take care of the rest of them to make sure they're fed. So, young lady, while you're trying to expose him for being a bad father, you just expose yourself to the entire metaverse, telling them that you are not a fit mother. And I'm sure anybody who's in the legal field that was watching your whole tirade will be more than happy to represent your baby daddy and possibly get custody of the child. And they probably do it pro bono. But Go ahead, Chris.
The amount of food stamps that you get for 4 kids is probably close to $1,000. Like it's a lot of money. One of the most ironic comments I kept seeing with that was people saying, you know, if she's smart, she can make that money last a whole month for 4 kids. But I'm like, if she was smart, she wouldn't have 4 kids. I'm like, I mean, you wouldn't have 4 kids needing the government to help you feed them. You get what I'm saying? So it was like one of those oxymorons where it's like, if she was smart, it would be like this. It's like, no, she's in the predicament she's in because of bad decision making.
Yeah, man. You have a lot of people come out and say, man, oh, you know, you can't bash the mother. She's doing what she can. She's doing the best for her situation, and she's not. Because you have a lot of people who also say, well, $1,000 for 4 kids, that's not a lot of money for groceries. Let me tell you something. Lord has blessed me with 5. I don't spend $1,000 on groceries a month. I don't spend $1,000 on groceries a month, and if I did, they're gonna last for the entire month.
Oh yeah,
it's called budgeting. And part of the thing that really got me about the entire video is that she was looking to expose him. How dare he bring some food for his child? That is just the biggest character damn flaw as a father I've ever seen in my life. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like we're gonna get to the second part of the video later on.
The second part of the video is there's one thing that she says to him in the second part of the video that is just like the worst. And when we play it, I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
You know, and the thing is, I sense narcissistic behavior or some kind of mental situation going on with her, because she's deflecting to everybody else, making them responsible for her kids. You know, and my question in this situation is, one, where are all the other fathers of the children? And two,
she ran them off.
That's quite
she
possible.
Ran them off.
But the
they don't even want to bring
is,
McDonald's.
If you're not married to someone with stepkids, which that would be stepkids in that situation, why would you think that it'd be the responsibility of that person to take care of all children outside of what biologically is? Mm-hmm. They're not, from what I see, from what I understand, they're not in a marriage situation. Mm-hmm. So he is in no way obligated to feeding children outside of what is his. If he wanted to do something nice, that's another thing. And if she needs some help, there's better ways to approach the situation instead of firing off on him immediately and being angry and cussing him out. Mm-hmm. She could have gotten a lot further, just saying, "Hey, look, I'm having a tough time this month. The kids really need something to eat. Can you help them out?" But that's not the route she took.
Of course not, man. That's a route a lot of people don't take, man, because people don't realize that in this day and age, man, that when you're dealing with anybody, whether it's a kid or an adult, it's not what you say, it's literally how you say it, how you present yourself, how you come off. Because the fact that he's willing to bring a child food, it's not beyond me to think of him that, if she asked him, regardless of their relationship, if she asked him, "Hey, you know what? I don't have this. My kids need this. Could you please get them some food?" Would he have done it? Probably so. I'm not saying he would have. Once again, I don't know that situation. If I was in a situation and that's how you approach me, I would be more than willing to help. But don't sit here and blame me because the rest of the kids that I'm not obligated to take care of because we're no longer in a relationship don't have food to eat. Like I just think that speaks bounds of the person, or the caliber of person that she is.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Absolutely, and then too, he may have been in a financial situation to where all he had was that little bit to get that one child something. So we really don't know what his background is. But one of the things I guess I can say that he probably could have done differently. Was maybe take the kid out to McDonald's and they eat there instead of, being in that situation where there's a negative feedback from the mother.
That's if she would allow him. Would she allow him to take the child to McDonald's? We don't know that. No. You get what I'm saying?
So many she wouldn't even allow the child to come outside to eat in the car because like I said, we talked about second bar. He's like, hey, let her come eat with me. She's like, no. So she didn't even want him to bring him food by himself. How is he gonna say, hey, let me pick up my son and go take him get some food? You're not gonna take all my children? I'm not. Not at all. Just the two of us.
But let's go ahead and get to the second part.
I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are their daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's? So I get food stamps on the 11th.
Three kids that ain't mine.
Yeah, they're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, the fuck I did.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of all the kids? They're not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids. Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all then. He can't take that shit. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had one or two, I can maybe. You got it's 3 extra kids. What the f***? You all like going to my mother account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with? That's the one you gonna
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
They my so that means
yeah. So don't. No, I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the 11th.
Your babies.
Okay, but I'm saying we share the same kids as well.
Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel the way about him eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my kid in the room.
Him down to the car. He ain't got to eat in front of his brothers and sisters. He can come right out to the car and eat with me.
No. You know what? Fine. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Done. He ain't eating this. You.
Why the you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. Selfish as a like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He not finna eat that shit. Dumb.
She kept saying, "You're dumb as hell. You look stupid." Man,
you knew what
survey says.
You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me. No, I didn't.
Actually,
that is the worst part.
Hold on.
That is the worst part of that whole video.
But I will say this. He, in fact, did understand what kind of person he was having sex with and would ultimately be the mother of a child. This isn't something that just popped up, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to be ratchet now. He saw these behaviors the entire time that they were in a relationship. So in that regard, yeah, she was right. And he still continued to do what he did with her. But that doesn't excuse the fact of what she's doing. So, yeah.
No,
Kevin Gates made a song about men like that. I ain't going to say what it is because this is a family channel. It's not.
It's really not.
He was thinking with the wrong head. Let's call it how it is. I edited it and cleaned it up about as much as I can. It's bad, man, because like I was telling Chris earlier, man, because that's my brother, so we talk about everything. But one of the things we talk about, man, as bad as her attitude is towards him, it is his decision making that allowed him to be in a position with a female like that. Like I blame him. When I was looking for a wife, I wasn't gonna say, "Hey, let me find the most ratchet piece of shit." Let me find the most ratchet piece of trash that I can find, and then make her a wife material. We know the old saying, "You can't turn them into a housewife." We ain't gonna say what you can't turn into a housewife. Once again, this is a family channel, but you can't do it. And I'm tired of people trying. I'm tired of guys allowing this to be the standard and then getting upset when they show you and your kids what kind of woman they are, because you know what's gonna happen. Your son gonna marry a woman just like his mom. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You can't help it. It's gonna be what you're around. And that's something, man, that has to change. Like, guys have to stop allowing this to happen. People have to stop allowing this to happen in relationships. And women, stop dealing with do nothing ass dudes. It's so simple. Let me tell you something. If he was selling dope when you got with him, don't be surprised when he leaves you. He's still selling dope. It shouldn't be a shocker. I thought I could change him. You can't.
Hey, it's like Maya Angelou always said. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. They were telling you the truth the whole time, but you were just so damn in love, you decided to bypass all that, thinking that happily ever after was going to solve Ratchet. No, it doesn't. It only adds more to it.
Happily ever after only happens in Disney,
and even then, it's not guaranteed. But I will say one thing I did pick up, one of the main things regarding him, he's a good father. He's doing for his child. And she even admitted to it, saying that you're here every other day or every day, something to that effect, giving him something, bringing him food, something like that. So he's not a deadbeat dad. He's involved in the child's life. It's just she's wanting him to take care of the things that she's responsible for. It's transference here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she didn't even address that when he said those are not my responsibility, those are your kids. She didn't even address. She's just like, those are his siblings. It's like,
yeah, that was the only rebuttal she had. Those are his siblings.
That's all she had.
The rationale of saying that as if like that's a good point. it's like okay, yeah, but yeah, man. The reason I like videos like this because. And the one thing it does is it just shows you what to avoid, what not to get in a relationship with, man. And if it's like on one hand you're kind of giving attention to the person, but it's like you need to see it, man. You just need to see like these personality types, man, to know what to avoid. It's sad. I'm still stuck on the. You knew what you was getting.
Expound on that, Chris, because it's obviously struck a chord in you.
Man, it did. But no, he said, no, I didn't. I felt nothing but pain in his voice, man. It's like nothing but pain. Like, no, I didn't. Like, and that's the thing, man. When you like somebody, a lot of times you get in a relationship with someone who will withhold, their true personality. Like, you don't really see, like, it basically amounts to lying, but sometimes, man, you lie to yourself too. You know what I mean? Like, you like somebody bad enough, you'll lie to yourself. You'll just, look over a lot of red flags, man. But man, that dude sounded like he was totally hurt. And then I'm just gonna speak on this, man. Just the anguish of being a father trying to put food in your kid's mouth and see that food hit the ground, man. That's like you was talking about, man, like an attorney or something need to get involved, because that, like, I put myself in his shoe. Like, that he had to walk away. You see how quick he had to walk away, because he had to sit there and kept engaging. That anger will boil over, man. You trying to feed your kid and somebody just throw the food on the ground, man.
What girl?
And it's crazy. I mean, as incriminating as she is, of her own stupidity, people are actually coming to her defense in comment sections everywhere, saying that he was being childish. In what world is he being childish? The only thing I see that he did wrong was choosing the wrong person to have a baby with.
What an interesting choice.
The same people that came to her defense saying that he's being childish were the same people that thought Amber Heard was being taken advantage of. That same exact group. Same exact group. Because it's sad to say, man, that like people think that, in situations like this, the justice system now always favors the female when it comes to separation or when it comes to, a mother, father, and the kids. That's just what it is. But the sad thing is that, like, it's slowly starting to change. But the fact that it has to change, it's almost like a dad has to go in there and prove he's a good dad more than a mother has to prove she's a good mother. A mother can go in there and cry and win custody of the kids. A dad doesn't go in there and cry all the time. Some guys do. A dad doesn't go in there and cry all the time. I was explaining to my wife earlier about how guys are, even when it comes to their feelings, are logical because they are literally logical thinkers. And logistically, like just to go in there and shed some tears to, win somebody over, that's not a character trait that most men possess. However, because females are more emotional, like that's just something that happens. They're going to get caught up in their feelings. It's going to come out. It's once again, I guarantee during the entire trial, Johnny Depp was hurt just as much as Amber Heard was. But Amber Heard was the one that would sit down on the stand and cry for 30 minutes and then immediately stop, and then cry for 10 more minutes and then immediately stop. Like there's nothing more persuasive
like it's calculated
than tears in the courtroom. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's manipulation, man. At the end of the day, because we're naturally drawn, we're naturally wanting, we're going to naturally want to show sympathy to someone who's in pain, who's crying. Now, what happens if you dealt with somebody who can cry on cue, and who can make that water come out their eyes, just like at the drop of a hat, as soon as they want to do it, that it quickly gets eroded. Like you just look at them and them tears won't mean nothing. But if you ain't never dealt with that, you still naturally sympathize with a crier. You know what I mean? But it's just things to look out for, man. With personality traits, and and we ain't talking about mental health issues, mental health problems, because that's a whole nother thing. But these are just personality defects that have been allowed to take root in a person due to lack of home training, lack of, discipline. It's I mean, we can go on and on, but it's like I said, man, I like it mainly because it shows you what to look out for.
Yeah,
it definitely does. I love that people are so quick to pull out I didn't know that card. Whenever something goes wrong involving a relationship, whenever there is some kind of catastrophe that happens, I'm sorry, you do know exactly what you're getting yourself into. One of the biggest things that I tell people is when they're in a relationship and they're trying to figure out if it's the right person and if they are sending up any red flags, I tell them, look at how they treat their parents, look at how they treat the people around them. What kind of relationships do they have? Do they have close friends? Do they have a group of advisors that are holding them accountable and that who are speaking life into them and holding their feet to the fire? Just look at all that, and that's going to tell you exactly who they are, how they're going to treat you, and how they're going to ultimately treat kids. And you can't sit there and tell me during this whole video that man had no idea that behavior was present. That was deeply rooted inside that woman. This, like I said earlier, man, this isn't something that she decided, when she woke up one morning to start being.
Yeah. See, man, my main problem with that, man, is that we talk about the red flags, and once again, these are things you have to have ironed out, like before you go any further into a relationship. I don't care if it's a friendship, I don't care if it's an intimate relationship. It's just things you have to know about a person. Like one of those things, if somebody's untrustworthy, that's already a red flag. That hey, I'm not going to deal with this. Excuse me, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm done. But like a lot of people look over those red flags when they're really interested into somebody because they go into a relationship with the intentions on changing that person. Like that's the biggest thing that I can say I think a lot of people fail at is that they go into a relationship not liking something about somebody and them thinking to themselves, hey, you know what? I can change them. And when they can't change them, they get upset. And then all of a sudden they want to call out the red flags to that person. Hey, you know what? I didn't like you at first because of this, and now you just shown me that you're not going to change. Well, ring a ding ding, dumbass. You should have seen that when the first red flag went up.
Yeah, you wasted both of our time because
exactly.
Man, you talked. I think that was the last show you talked about like certain questions that you asked before you get into a relationship, and based on those answers, you decide to move forward, but what if those answers were just lies? You know what I mean? Like it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm asking these questions for a reason, and a lot of folks are in relationships with people, man, who they'll give them the right answers, man. They'll give them the answers, It could be any. Ask anybody. You know, is it better to be a giver or a receiver? It's better to give or receive. We know the right answer gonna be what? To give.
Give, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, boy. Excuse me, boy. I'm glad you answered what I did. Never mind.
But no, my thing is it's better to give. Okay,
Ladies, he's a giver.
Show me somebody who's excited. Show me somebody who's excited to be a giver, just giving of themselves. You know, we live in a world full of takers, but they'll answer that question. It's better to give. Ain't nobody trying to give nothing. Ain't nobody giving nothing out here. Like, you know, but the answer would be.
Apparently she was giving kids. She's giving up a lot more. You know, my mom always told me find something I'm good at, and she found hers.
Now, find something you're good at, don't do it for free.
But instead of putting out kids, if you must give out something, do it through OnlyFans. Anyway. The FCC is knocking on my door if you hear that noise in the background.
That's our second sponsor.
No, a lot of, you know, we like to joke on some things, but it's really a sad situation. But Chris, you turned me on to a video earlier this week. I forgot the name of the girl.
Courtney Ryan.
Courtney Ryan. She's got a lot of great videos dealing with relationships and, man, a lot of stuff that we often talk about. And one of the main focuses of that video that you sent to me was she listed out negative traits or red flags, as it were, to look for from a potential mate. She said to look for in a woman, but it can be applied to anyone. And I'll kind of name them off, and as I do, we're going to talk about that. And also, you know, folks, tell us if you see any of these little traits that I named are existent in the female that we watched on the video earlier. First thing is negative talk about others or treating people around her negatively. That's a huge red flag. I think I've already covered that pretty well. Is when you're having conversations with a potential mate, are they constantly putting down those who are supposed to be closest to them? Are they constantly judging or putting down others? Guys, tell me why that's a red flag in your eyes.
Man, in my eyes, man, I think it's that way because a lot of people are very negative towards other people with things that they themselves are insecure about. You have a lot of guys who won't like another guy because they see another guy who's very confident, and they take his confidence as arrogance because they're lacking confidence. So when you see somebody walking around, you know, they got the shoulders pulled back, head up, and you walk around looking at your feet, you're like, look at this dude. He think he's better than everybody else. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He knows how to present himself. Like one thing I struggled with, man, back in the day, man, is that people thought I was cocky. I don't know why they got that idea. Can't think of one. But anyway, they would tell me I was cocky, man, but it had nothing to do with that. And it used to really affect me, man. I used to feel bad because people thought I was cocky, but I realized that the people who thought I was cocky did not know me. Like I didn't have a conversation with them. They saw me enter a room. They saw me walk. They saw me talk to people. And when they see that, their own preconceived notion about me is that, oh my gosh, this guy is so arrogant. Whether if you know the people who are actually in my circle, man, if you needed a shirt right now, I'd give it to you off my back. And that's one thing that people had to stop confusing with other things because it's just their own reflection of themselves. People have a hard time putting their reflection of themselves on other people, and that's why I think like when you hear someone talking down about somebody, it's not so much as that's how they feel, but it's so much of, hey, you know, I feel this way about myself, so this is what I see in them.
Chris, your thoughts, man?
Yeah. Man, just I've said it before, but how a person is with anything is how they'll be with everything. You know, you got, someone who's being negative. You're gonna be dealing with negative, a lot. You get what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, you want to be with somebody who's pure, who got some, pure at heart. You know what I mean? Like a good person, and good, good people just don't act like that, man. They don't go around putting down other people. Man, what is so funny? He is.
I'm sorry. Let me say this, bro. Excuse me.
What
bro.
is on your mind?
You are coming out with these old men quotes. Hey, however they gonna be is however they gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? Look at my eyes. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. It's funny, man. Like you, but like I guess the biggest compliment. You sound like one of my elders. You sound like one of my uncles, man. But like I've always known them to always speak truth. It's always straightforward. It's hilarious to hear coming from you, bro. I'm sorry, it makes me laugh.
Mean, that's the thing, man. We got to get back to that too, man. Like the younger generation, man, they don't talk. No, the older folks don't really talk to these kids. They don't like. People are literally out here just feeding kids and watching them get older and then just out into the world with no knowledge, no training, no wisdom, nothing has been instilled in them. They behave as if they've never spoken to someone who tried to, give them some type of knowledge. And worse, some of them are just plainly rejecting knowledge nowadays. Man, you got folks who just like, hey, man, do what makes you happy. You know how dangerous that is to tell somebody, do what makes you happy. I just want you to be happy. That is like a dangerous statement. People say it all the time. I just be like, what? I be like, y'all don't hear that. But I know we just got way off topic just now. But it's just a lot of stuff that goes on, man, with people who haven't been able to just be introspective. You get what I'm saying? Just have knowledge put into them from not a Facebook meme, but a old person. You get what I'm saying? Like somebody who's lived and has a record of making good decisions. Like you just don't see it, man. Like these kids out here, they just
man, you made a very good point a couple of weeks ago, Chris. One thing you said is that this is like one of the first times like that now you have older women or older men taking their cues from a younger generation. Like it has never been like that. It has never been like I'm gonna take, my dad gonna take his cues from me. Hold on, wait, what? Hold on, wait. You listen to me about this? No, player. Don't work like that, man. And when you do that, man, now, I'm not saying that to completely disregard the next generation, because just like when our generation came up, the generation before me told us how bad we were, how dumb we were. The difference is now the younger generation now is pretty damn stupid. I must say, and I blame social media. I blame so much fake news. Big news. I blame so much fake news, man. I blame people not actually reading. I blame people not actually finding out information for themselves. And this not only goes from like the social aspect, but it goes into like the actual aspect of relationship building. People aren't taught relationships anymore. I know people don't even sit around the table to have dinner anymore, but you don't realize how important that is until you realize that around that dinner table, you learn how to speak respectfully. You learn to wait till it was your turn to talk so you can speak. You learn how to be, you learn how to be, grateful for what you have. And you learn all that sitting around a dinner table. And like a lot of people don't do that anymore. And some of these parents now are so young themselves that they're immature raising a child. See, back once again, we grew up, man, our parents were old enough when they had kids to raise a child in a mature way. And a lot of these parents now are maturing because people are having babies younger. These parents are maturing and going through their 20s. So by the time a person is like 30 years old, they have a 10-year-old and they had to grow up together. Like that's tough. Like to each his own. Like for some people it's possible. For some, there are a lot of parents out here who should not be parents. I've seen parents before. And I'm thinking to myself, you're going to be the reason that child is in jail. So your own immaturity, and you mad at your child, but it's your fault. That child is a reflection of you.
It's like the McDonald's girl, man. Like you just said, you learn how to talk. Like I ain't grow up around nobody who thought it was okay to talk to anybody like how she's speaking to this man. She has seen somebody do that. That's normal to her. It's normal to do that. And like your kid, I'm sure they probably in earshot. They can hear you talking. Like that's not normal behavior. It's no excuse for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the kids see that as the normal thing, and then in that poor boy's situation who isn't going to get to eat tonight, I'm sure the mother is coming back inside the house and not only is manipulating him, but is manipulating the other kids to try to teach them to hate him ultimately, and then this is all his fault.
Of course, man, and that's sad, man. Like
with no regard to their development. That's the sad thing. This is impacting their development. You get what I mean?
As far as the negative talk, I mentioned, you're seeing chaos in their life, whether it be from a person to parent standpoint, a person to friend standpoint. But also, if they're constantly sitting there talking negatively about past relationships, that can be a huge red flag, because to me that says if they're constantly bringing this up into a time where y'all are supposed to be investing in each other and learning about each other and growing something, it tells me that they're still hanging on to something that they should have been dealt with before they came into the situation with you. So, guys, what do you think on that?
Man, I think people that bring baggage into a relationship, that's tough, because you're having someone else pay for something they didn't do, and it's almost inevitable sometimes. Yeah, some people who are able to do that and not let their past relationship impact their current relationship unless it's impacting that in a positive way. And what I mean by that is that simply the things you learn from your mistakes before, you apply to not make those mistakes again. But to the people who bring those, those same obstacles, those same hurdles into their current relationship, but then expect their partner to jump those hurdles or to beat those obstacles out just to prove to them that, hey, you deserve to be with me because you're willing to work for my heart. Like, look, ain't nobody got time for that. And the thing that gets me, man, and rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, I hate when older women do it. Like it's like, I understand it for a younger woman, you're immature, but for an older woman to do it, like, look, once you reach a certain age, like what, what, once you start worrying about, hey, you know what, when I have kids, is this going to be a healthy pregnancy? It's time to stop bullshitting. Like you're getting up there, and I say that jokingly, but there are once again people, older women now and older men, who are taking their cues from a younger generation. Like they're telling you how's it sound to me listen to a 20-year-old telling me how to treat my older wife? That doesn't make sense. You don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, but yet I'm gonna take my cues from you. Oh, go in there and punch in the face. She like that. Okay.
people don't want to grow up. People don't want to grow up, man. They want to stay young. They want to be hip, cool. They want to be down. At the end of the day. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that kills relationships, and it might be the number one thing. I might put that on the table tonight. It might be the number one killer of a relationship.
I'm gonna say, hold on, wait. Let me get close to my camera.
Yeah. Undisclosed expectations.
Ooh, please, sir, elaborate.
This is good. Let me get my pen. We're about to go to church. The pastor is in the pulpit.
Undisclosed expectations. Like you said, how you think people get in relationships, thinking they can change someone, and then they inevitably realize that they can't. If you had just approach your relationship honestly, hey, man, or if you're a man, hey, woman, hey, this is what I expect in this relationship. Are you down with it? It could be anything. Hey, I expect I'm gonna go to work. You'll be cooking dinner at least a few times a week. We're gonna, raise the kids like this, whatever it is. If that person agrees with you, good. But if you have a undisclosed expectation, like, oh yeah, when we get married, yeah, I'll wear them down. I'll nag them. We'll work on this, we'll work on that, and you don't ever disclose this to him. You got it in your mind that you gonna, take out the the chisel, the
hammer and chisel.
You're gonna smooth them out. If that's your expectation, you don't voice this. You don't say these things up front. Hey, in a relationship, I think a man should be like this and like this and like this. He'll tell you, nah, I'm not gonna be that. Proceed, move on, go find him. It ain't me. Let's save going to court and getting divorced in a few years, because that ain't what I'm gonna be. Relationships are simple. People are difficult, bro.
Well, hey, say that one more time. I think we had somebody who just got online who didn't hear
that. Relationships are simple. People are difficult, bro.
You unknowingly just tied this conversation to the next point as far as communication. Unvoiced expectations. Well, one of the biggest things that's an issue is the people who expect their significant other to be a mind reader. And you hear the common phrase, I shouldn't have to ask you, I shouldn't have to tell you, you should know, so on and so forth.
You should know.
That, no.
Girl?
There are some people who are not Professor Charles Xavier, who leads the X-Men and has telepathic abilities. You can't just expect people to just know everything. Yeah, you can know a person what their likes and dislikes are. But if you don't bring things to the surface that are inside that need to be talked about, no one's ever going to know what's going on. They won't ever know. Like, if I don't know what's broke, how am I going to fix it?
If you don't know what's broke, how you fix it? Oh my gosh, yes, yes, man, yes. I think, and once again, this goes back to people in previous relationships bringing that baggage in, because they get so used to dealing with one person that they shelter their emotions and their feelings. So, they can't fully express how they feel because they think that this person is going to shut them down how the last person did. And they put their expectation on this other person unknowingly. And without them being able to, fully express themselves, a lot of feelings go unheard. And then you want to say, well, you know what? You don't ever listen to me. No, you don't ever talk. We can't communicate. You don't ever listen. Like, I think a lot of times in relationships, man, people put a lot of pressure on women, saying that, hey, you know what? She's over emotional. First of all, she's a woman. I haven't met one single woman that's not overly emotional. So guys, take that out. You're too emotional. She is going to be emotional. Like it is a given. It is going to happen. If you know one woman that's not overly emotional, she's a trans. I mean, she's a man.
Oh, and just like that, our run has ended.
No, I'm joking, man. But really, man.
But by not communicating, man, you're bringing a lot of unnecessary conflict to the relationship that shouldn't be there, and it can be avoided if you just spoke about it. I mean,
spoke up.
I don't like having the hard conversation. Nobody looks forward to that. If anybody who will tell you something different, they're lying to you. But the thing is, if you don't talk about it, if you don't communicate this, you don't speak it into existence, you're building up also a lot of resentment that doesn't have to be there, and that can kill a relationship.
For sure. Mm-hmm. I've seen girls joke about, and it's not funny in the slightest, but I've seen girls joke about like the argument that they are planning in advance with their husband. Like you ever see like when he gets home, we're gonna argue. Like they would spend valuable time just being unproductive. How they're going to have an argument in advance. Like that's insane to me. You know what I mean? That is insane. But
so that tells me that it's a control issue, which leads to the next point of talking over other people, dominating the conversation, not letting them get their points across, constantly interrupting you.
Yeah, imagine trying to communicate with someone who don't listen, and they don't listen, and they will turn around and ask you, why don't you want to talk to them? The same person would do this, not listen to you, and ask you, why don't you want to talk to them?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna tell you my pet peeve. I'm I'm gonna tell you my pet peeve, man, and I do it with my kids because I see them do it sometimes, and even my wife is guilty of doing this. I could be having a conversation, we could be having a conversation, we're going back and forth, and I'm explaining to you the answer to the question you just asked me, and in your face, I can see you thinking of the next question you're gonna ask while I'm answering the question you just asked me. Like I can't stand it. I like that. That is literally something I've had to work on to not get pissed off about, and it's not something that's done often, but it's something that's been seen before. You can definitely see it in their face. Like I'm answering your question, but you're thinking of what you're gonna ask me next, so you don't even hear what I'm saying. Oh, who was that? Yes, they are tag team champions. Tag team champions. Somebody's commented. Sorry about that. Much love to you. But yeah, man, so it's once again, man, it falls on communication, and I'm not one to always harp on the women in this, man. I'm gonna harp on the men because a lot of men don't demand respect in their relationships. Like they're okay with, you know what, my wife feels this way, since she feels this way, I don't want to deal with it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and then there goes the term "happy wife, happy life." Look, man, it ain't always about her being happy. Like I heard a guy recently saying, "Marriage is not to make you happy. The point of marriage is not to make you happy," and that's a true statement. Marriage is not always happy every single day. I told my wife, "Baby, I don't like you today, but I love you. I love you, but I do not like you right now. We can like each other in about 15 minutes. But I love you to death, but I don't like you." And, we say that jokingly, man, but we're able to have those hard conversations. The bad part, like you said, Jay, is that being able to have those conversations is so difficult and so far gone with so many people that they end up looking over them and not having them, and then they still let the same problem that they've had for a long time fester, rather than just sitting down and having a conversation. I don't want to have this conversation with him because he's going to get upset. He's going to get mad. I don't want to have this conversation with her because she's gonna cry. Man, let me tell you something. Yeah. A lot of guys talk about now about how to treat a woman like a princess, treat her like a queen. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman thinking. Hear me out. There's nothing wrong with a woman thinking, hey, you know what? He should treat me like a princess, like a queen. But if you're going to do that, you have to treat your husband like a king. I've never seen the age of women going back to the 1700s. I've never seen a woman that was upset with being a queen. Women would love to be a queen to a king, but now the problem is you have so many women that want to be the king too, and that's a no-go.
Well, it's every man wants to be treated like a king. Every woman wants to be treated like a queen. But the thing is about pouring life into each other and doing for each other. It's not just assigned to one person to be able to treat someone a certain way. It's give and take. It's like it's better to give. It's also better to receive. It's not a one-way street, in other words. But yeah, I mean, the princess syndrome. There's difference between being a princess and being entitled, feeling like you are owed all this.
Yes. Thank you. My God, Justin, you said it. Boy, you said it. Oh, you said it. Oh, I'm finna start rocking. Oh, boy, you said it.
But no amount of gratitude, bro. Like that's what it leads to. There's zero gratitude. And it stems from a lot of times father-daughter relationships. You got a father who wants to, do for his child, obviously, as the father. You want to give your child gifts and so on and so forth. But you gotta do that knowing that your child is also grateful for that. Mm-hmm. Like if it's just like you're just my little princess, all she do is just wake up in the morning, breathe and eat. She gonna go into every relationship thinking all she got to do is wake up in the morning, breathe, and that man is gonna be satisfied with that. And he's not a surrogate father. He's a husband. He's not going to be your father in any form or fashion. I mean, obviously husbands do assume roles like being a provider, like a father is a provider with his daughter, but you got to do something. You're not going to just be, feet up, expecting somebody to be like your court jester, your entertainment, and you just sit there. You get what I'm like?
I'll say this: a princess is appreciated to the kingdom that got her to the throne, and also takes care of the kingdom.
Yep,
gives back, pours life into the people, who put her in a position of royalty. And the same can be said of men too. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times I hear lately from this new generation. It's the man's job to do this for you. No, it's nobody's job. God did not assign you something to do at the moment that you were spoken into existence, that you had to do. Now it's a choice. It's freely given, and like y'all said, it's earned. It comes from a place of respect. If somebody's respecting me, I'm going to want to do for them, whether it's an intimate relationship or it's a friendship.
Yep. It's give and take, man. Like you said, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship between a husband and wife. It doesn't matter if it's just a friendship between friends. I mean, if you're a crappy friend, don't expect somebody to once again go the extra mile for you. Don't expect them to just do more for you. I think so many people, man, have to be able to, I guess, accept responsibility for what they bring to a relationship, and and right off that, I think relationships are meant to build people. You're not going to go into a relationship the same way that you come out of one.
And we touched on this a little bit earlier about when someone tells you who they are, believe them. One of the things that I hear from women and men too, calling themselves crazy. There's something there's something to that. When somebody says that, ask why. Start asking that question in your head. Okay, this may have come across in a joking manner, but behind every joke, there's a little bit of truth.
There's a lot of truth behind my jokes. There's a lot of truth,
especially when they show the crazy behavior when they put their life out there for everyone to see and everyone to know, especially this new generation, like our young lady earlier who was documenting her so-called exposure of the baby daddy, documenting all their problems on the internet, talking about anything and everything, leaving nothing to the imagination, and just showing all kind of crazy behavior.
Yeah.
And it's said like it's supposed to be cute, like you're supposed to find it endearing to deal with, and I wanted to touch on what Julian said a minute ago about emotions and how women are emotional. That's fine, but at a certain point, you can't be stupid. Your emotions, your emotions are supposed to stop at a certain point, or else you're just moving into the range of being stupid. Like I've seen, I grew up around a lot of women, mother, aunts, cousins, whoever they may be,
hookers.
I've seen them all. Emotional. Hold on, what? I've seen them all emotional, but I ain't seen none of them be stupid. You know what I mean? And all that. That like that behavior, man. That's women. Unfortunately, not just women, but it's just becoming a thing where behaving in an aggressive way is just starting to become a norm, and it ain't going. We're not heading in the right direction, man. We raising folks who seeing this. They got the apps on their phones. They looking at it. There are young girls looking at this. There are young boys looking at it too, and they gonna accept this behavior. That's just how women behave. That's just how that's how women are. And
the biggest crock of garbage I've heard recently. I'm gonna quote Cardi B. In WAP, because women think that WAP is gonna save your relationship, and they follow this quote. I don't cook, I don't clean, and you have women out there saying that, being proud of it, thinking that the WAP is gonna make up for the cooking and some cleaning. Let me tell you something. There's so much WAP out there, boy, that the guy's gonna find a girl that cooks and clean and has WAP. The WAP ain't gonna do it by itself. I ain't gonna do it for forever because pretty soon it's gonna be some dab.
So
that's
in other words, men, find a cougar.
Find a cougar.
Yeah, they'll give it up, and then they'll have a pot of collard greens and mashed potatoes and fried chicken waiting on you when you're done.
They're gonna do some real cooking.
Yeah, some real cooking. Gonna put the foot in it
from scratch. Man, isn't
might bring some neck bones to the bed. Go ahead.
Hey, isn't it a little ironic that once upon a time women, they took pride in how much they did for their families, and now women are taking pride in how little they can do. Like, I don't do this and this or this yet. I still got me one. Like, that's a source of pride for them.
They won't be there long.
Yeah, right.
You got one. Once again, bro. Once again, I blame the men because there are men out there that will get a woman like that don't cook or clean and she proud of it, and he's gonna wife her anyway. That leaves them thinking, you know what? I still got a chance. You don't. Like a woman takes care of her household. A woman takes care of her family. The male provides everything she needs to do that. It's okay for a woman to go out there and work and provide those things for herself. But once again, man, like these are the roles that we feel inside of a household. Like my wife is a stay-at-home mom. So her job is this house. Like that's her job. My job is to make sure that she has everything she needs to take care of this house. That's my job. And once again, that's not gonna be the same for everybody, but right. That's how our dynamic rolls. That's how we work. So a lot of people look at her, and a lot of women look at her. Oh my gosh, you stay at home. I couldn't be no stay-at-home mom. I can do this. I gotta go and get mine. You know what? Well, she got hers, and it's working just fine. It's women that have that and take advantage of it, or the women that have that and don't do the best to fulfill their role. Like if you're in a role in a relationship, if you have an established role in your relationship, play your role. As The Rock said, know your role and shut
your mouth.
Your mouth. Thank you.
But and that's the thing when it comes to relationships. Everybody has a role. And no, women, we are not saying that we are still living in the 1800s where y'all are regular to cooking and cleaning and making babies and so on and so forth. We're saying that everybody has something to bring to the table. The man could be. There are a lot of stay-at-home husbands. It's all about what can you bring to make that relationship grow and prosper. It's not. Yep. It's not. It gets me mad when people have the attitude that I don't have to give anything to a relationship. Then you're not going to be in a relationship. You're just going to go from person to person, and you're going to be that 55-year-old person at the end of the bar in the club, wearing.
What a hole that.
Wearing clothes that you should be wearing at 50 years old.
City Girls 2022.
But we've gone a little bit over our time, so I want to kind of bring it back in. So, guys, let me ask the question in regards to this video we saw. Who was right? Who was wrong? Chris,
man, I'm gonna go ahead and say, in my opinion, man, I truly believe she was wrong. He pulled up. He brought food. She threw it out. That's what the video. Regardless of all the talk in there, people can say, "Oh, well, he should have brought food for the other kids." He didn't have to. He literally does not have to. That comes down to a morale thing. If he didn't want to, he didn't have to, and he didn't. He's taking care of his. Apparently, they're not together anymore. So he ruined the fact that he'll be taking care of all of them. They're not together anymore. So he's going to take care of his responsibility. I guarantee if he's paying child support, he's only paying child support for one child because only one of those children are his.
Mm-hmm. Chris?
I'm going to change the question. I'm going to change the question. Not to, well, I don't like who is right or wrong, but what is right and wrong.
Debo's philosophical tonight.
Personally,
Aristotle.
Personally, if I know my child is somewhere where there's other children, I would have, if I would have been allowed to, I would have just picked up my child and taken them to McDonald's. If I wanted to do something special for just my child, or I would have set something up, with the mom where he can come outside. We would have had an understanding about, what the food I got and where he was going to eat it. Because I know I'm not going to expect my child to just sit there in front of other children and eat. You know what I mean? Like that's strange. So I mean, but like I said, the communication barrier between these two, we don't know the full dynamic of their relationship, but that to me was the worst part of the video. Just a lack of communication on both sides. There's nothing wrong with him wanting to just pick up something for his kid. We don't know if he was even able to pick up something for all the kids.
Right.
So it's a whole lot of variables, but it's dead. It's dead wrong to throw food on the ground, and how he done came over there. That's just dead wrong. But the whole situation to me could have been avoided. Maybe it couldn't have been avoided because she don't really seem very reasonable. Like I said, there's a lot of information. A lot of information.
It is, man. Because if she had thrown that food on the ground and videotaped the ass whooping, then they want him in jail.
And you know what? If she did not allow the child to go with his father anywhere, you know what? Document that. Because legally he can take his child anywhere he wants. And if she is going to violate the terms of what they establish in court, then she's going to be in trouble. A lot of what she's doing, she could get in trouble for. But my answer is, my answer is, I got two answers. One, surface answer, she was wrong, plain and simple. Broad answer, they're both wrong. One, the way she acted. Then two, him choosing to engage in a intimate relationship with someone that he had no business being with and bringing a child into the world with.
Yep.
Because
completely agree.
You gotta hold him accountable. Sure.
The big thing in the video that Chris, you laughed about constantly, we all laughed about, was you knew what you was getting into. No, I didn't.
Man.
that to me it spoke volumes over the entire video. The saying all of this could have been avoided if you just saw what you were getting yourself into and decided, like you always say, guys, cross the street.
Got to keep it pushing.
And that's it right there. But guys, we have gone over.
Keep on pushing.
Should we talk about the original show that we had playing tonight? Should we give a preview? Are we on for next time?
Yeah. Okay, so folks, originally we had. What is wrong with me talking tonight? We had originally scheduled to talk about cheating and the various let me think of the right word, ideas people have regarding it, about what they think is right, what they think is wrong, what they think should be allowed. We're going to talk about that tonight. And we had a female that was scheduled to be with us because we felt like in order to talk about this, we need to start getting things from a female perspective. Well, this weekend was her birthday weekend. She canceled on us. So,
happy birthday.
So we have postponed it, and hopefully by the grace of God, in 2 weeks, we will tackle that issue. And it's not just one particular point. It's about several. There's so much to dissect when talking about the topic of cheating. So y'all definitely want to tune into that. But before we go, I am going to pass it around the room, starting with Mr. C. Parrish. If you would, tell folks how they can find you on social media. And again, now I ask you this every week, when we're going to see your first TikTok video, and what's up next?
Look, y'all done already called me old tonight, and then you're going to bring up TikTok. The answer I would have gave, I got to change now.
And when are you going to give Fred Sanford his shirt back?
it's my. It's gonna sound bad now. I'm gonna get around to you learn how to use it. I'm gonna get around to learning that old TikTok. I'm gonna get around to it. Yeah, Mr. C.A. Parrish on Instagram, Mr. C.A. Parrish on TikTok. Until I make my own video, I'll just keep reposting y'all. I guess I don't know. I'll get around to it one of these days.
All right, Julian, I want to turn it over to you. Again, talk to us about Todd's Terrific Turf. Tell us how people can find you on social media. Also, too, give out your email. That way, if anybody wants to have any topics covered or has any comments on this episode or any other one, they can do so. And also, too, do you have any updates on any comments or feedback?
I do not, man. I reached out to a lot of people this week, man. They had a lot of questions pertaining to our upcoming episode that we had to change, so I'm going to save that for next week. For next episode. I'm also going to save for next episode, guys and ladies, tune in. I will give out every single reason why guys cheat. I will give out every single reason. I promise. I will let the world know. Guys are mad at me now. Hey, I'm sorry. I will give out every single reason why guys cheat. I promise. That is my goal. I will also ask her why she thinks guys cheat, even though I think it will be irrelevant because I know every reason why guys cheat. Todd, return 5 million. You said what?
That's it. Check out that mic stand. YouTube.
That's a Jack Daniels bottle. Hey, look, hey, really. Follow me on Instagram, Mr. DYDC. T Terrific T. Hey, that's Todd's Terrific Turf. Once again, the grass is always greener there. Instagram, TikTok, Mr. DYDC. Email JETodd007. Once again, JETodd007 at gmail.com. The mission is possible. You can believe that. But let me tell you all this, man, before we go. I want to make sure everyone knows this. Money in the Bank is tonight. The Usos are still champion. Liv Morgan just cashed in after Ronda Rousey won, and now she's champion. And right now, the men's Money in the Bank is going on. Israel Adesanya is fighting tonight, so we have a stacked UFC card. Hey, we're going to report on everything on this. But do me a favor. Follow me. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Black Table Talk. You know where to find me, JETodd007.
Yeah, and we do have a Facebook page, so please find us on Facebook, Black Table Talk. Hit a like for us so we know that you're there. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Well, that'll do it for this week. We appreciate everyone who came in.
No, it won't. Sorry, Justin. Hey, we will be going live from SummerSlam. July 30th. Me and Chris will be there. How you doing?
Oh, that's right.
How you doing? How you doing?
All right. Until next time, guys.